I'm British and I'm proud to be British, and I like the pound.
Sally, cheers.
What would you think? I like to stay in.
1 second.
I ain't got a clue.
It's nice to have a national identity, and I think it's nice to keep the currency that we have at the moment.
We've always been a country of our own, haven't we? We don't want to be bothered with other people, do we?
Welcome to the United Kingdom, the most Eurosceptic country in Europe. They certainly know their own mind. Recession or not, even with the devaluation of the pound, 71% of the British people are still saying no to the euro. Will the naysayers ever be convinced?
I think long term it will inevitably happen, but with the current economic climate, I'm not sure whether the timing's going to be right.
There are those whose allegiance is ruled by expedience.
It's fine, but I think we're going... Do you mind if I pay in euros?
Not at all. No, I take euros. Oh, it's either take euros or lose out. If we had the euro, we wouldn't be in that situation, would we?
That is a minority opinion. Many Britons felt a kind of humiliation in 1992 when recession forced the pound to quit the European exchange rate mechanism, which was preparation for the single currency union. That was not a happy time either.
The UK economy only emerged from recession when it actually left the exchange rate mechanism. So in the British mind, there's an association between European monetary integration and recession, and non-membership and economic recovery.
Even the Viking spirit in Denmark and Iceland is wavering. Both those countries are now considering joining the euro. Many see it as a shield against financial onslaught. But never mind the credit crunch. In London, it's still, we'll manage.
Nothing, in fact, has changed in the UK. The politics remain the same, and the UK is unlikely to join the single currency anytime soon, particularly since the Conservative Party, which is very Eurosceptic, is likely to win the next general election.
Monetary union on the agenda? The Tories don't think so, at least not just yet. But does this member of the Conservative delegation in Brussels leave the door even slightly ajar?
I think in politics the word never is terribly dangerous, and I never use it. There you are, I've just used it. The United Kingdom is better and stands a better chance of economic recovery outside of the euro rather than being within the euro, because of course we can set our own interest rates, and because the low value of the pound, ironically, helps us lift our export.
What is also especially important to Richard Ashworth and his fellow Conservatives is the free movement of goods, people and capital within the EU. But recession puts these single market principles to the test. UK jobs took a rap on the knuckles from the Posted Workers Directive. This lets foreign subcontractors import their own manpower for temporary projects. Their obligations are limited. They have to respect the host country's working hours and minimum wage, but it's still cheaper than hiring a British workforce. Industrial sites all over the country have seen wildcat strikes since January. Gordon Brown's 2007 catchphrase, "British work for British workers," was recycled by tabloid newspapers and organisations of the far right. German energy company E.ON was playing by EU rules at a construction site for a heat and power station in Kent. French power equipment firm Alstom is said to have paid their subcontracted Polish workers £10 an hour. It is £4 above the minimum wage, but £4 less than British workers expect. Local media were among the first on the scene.
Well, the protests were taking place at the gate behind me. There was a gathering of almost about 100 people, local people who came who didn't have a job, who wanted to have their say, who basically wanted to say, we really need work, plus some people who actually work on the site who came out to say, we want to work alongside other British people. We see too many people of other nationalities coming in, and of course the unions who were organising it all, who really wanted to get across the message, a message being very much British workers need the chance to apply for British jobs.
Under UK rules, a person who's out of a job but who has savings is not entitled to much state help. This trade unionist last worked 14 months ago. His unemployment benefits amount to about £60 a week, less than 68 euros.
Well, it's hard to get by, on the money coming in. You just can't really exist on it, So I'm breaking into savings quite frequently, and I'm now getting that really I need to be working. These power stations that are going up around the country are crucial to people like me and to younger men as well.
Bill Spears says the Posted Workers Directive only benefits bosses and creates unfair competition. Richard Ashworth disagrees, saying British workers don't do so badly out of it.
We need to get a sense of perspective here, because over 1 million of their fellow British workers are at this moment working in the other 26 nations of the European Union, so it does cut both ways.
This Labour MEP suggests the Posted Workers Directive be revised. He considers the text in its present form a potential source of conflict. He's concerned that problems might emerge at Europe's biggest building site, the 2012 Olympics facilities. It's in his voting area, and 2 out of every 5 workers on it are from abroad.
What will happen is that whatever the reality on the ground, people will feel that there's a problem about Europe, that therefore we should iron out the rules which seem to make it not work. In this case, the Posted Workers Directive definitely needs revising. It should be revised in such a way as to say that if you post some workers, they should be paid roughly the same pay and conditions as the existing worker.
No to the euro in spite of the crisis, no to European workers because of the crisis. Insiders say acceptance of the EU needs a revision of impressions every bit as much as revisions of policy.
The impression people have of the European Union is that it's distant, it's remote, it's bureaucratic.
If you have a Eurosceptic backdrop, then, politicians and others need to continually make the case for the European Union.
I think it's very easy to jump on phrases like British jobs for British workers, and particularly I think some of the tabloid newspapers have cottoned on to that and run campaigns along those lines.
It would be wrong to characterise British Euroscepticism as just an expression of xenophobia.
There's a moral aspect, isn't there, about the race to the bottom. We want everybody in Europe to improve.